I never thought my own sister could be the one to betray me in the worst way possible. I was with Alex for almost 3 years. We met during college and clicked instantly. He was charming, smart, and supportive. My family adored him, or so I thought. He came to every holiday, every birthday, every random family BBQ. And my sister, Haley, she was always around. I never thought twice about the way she laughed at his jokes or how she'd touch his arm a little too long. I trusted both of them. But everything started to shift about 6 months before the breakup. Alex began acting cold, distant. He'd snap at me over small things, spend less time at home, and always had excuses. Late work meetings, last minute, trips. I thought maybe we were just in a rough patch. I even blamed myself for not being fun enough anymore. Then one night he just told me he didn't feel the same. No reason, no explanation. He just left. I cried for weeks. My sister tried to comfort me, saying things like, "You're too good for him anyway," and "You'll find someone better." Fast forward 4 months. I was finally starting to heal, going out again, laughing, moving forward. That's when I saw a photo pop up on social media. Haley and Alex. At dinner. Not just a casual dinner, this was a candlelit romantic dinner. I clicked on her profile and saw dozens of photos. Them at the beach, at his apartment, even one of them cuddled up on my old couch, the couch we bought together. My stomach turned. I confronted Haley the next day. She didn't even deny it. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "I didn't plan for it to happen, but we fell in love." I wanted to scream, but all I could do was stare at her, speechless. She acted like it was normal, like I should understand. 2 weeks later, they announced their engagement. No shame, no guilt. My parents were shocked but tried to stay neutral, calling it complicated and telling me to be the bigger person. I felt like I was living in some twisted nightmare. That's when I decided I wouldn't let it go. I wouldn't cause a scene. I'd do better. I'd make them regret it quietly, deeply, without even raising my voice. I started with Alex's business. He was trying to launch a consulting firm and used to share everything with me. I still had old emails, plans, even contacts. I anonymously leaked some damaging internal files that exposed how he used shady methods to get early funding. I made sure it reached the right people. Investors backed out, deals collapsed, and within 2 months, his entire launch failed. Then, Haley. She was planning a big, showy wedding. I knew her dream venue, her dress plans, everything. So I reached out to the venue with an anonymous tip, claiming they were affiliated with someone under investigation. I even hinted at fraud. The venue dropped them. Twice. Her designer ghosted. Her next. Vendors started pulling out one by one. She was stressed, losing weight, snapping at everyone. I watched quietly from a distance. When the wedding finally happened, small, rushed, nothing like her vision, I didn't show up. I sent a gift. A framed photo of me and Alex from a vacation we took in the early days, with a note that read, "Some memories don't fade." Petty? Maybe. But I wanted her to feel that sting, and I know she did. It's been a year now. They're still together, but it's not the fairy tale they expected. Word got around about Alex's failed business, and Haley has lost a lot of the friends who were once in her corner. As for me, I've moved on. I'm dating someone kind and respectful, someone who doesn't look twice at my sister. I don't speak to her anymore, and honestly, I don't miss her. People say revenge doesn't solve anything, but in my case, it gave me peace. And sometimes that's more than enough. I never imagined the two people I trusted most would be the ones to destroy me. Alex was the love of my life. We met during college, and from the first time he smiled at me, I felt like I'd found home. He was warm, affectionate, always whispering promises of forever. For 3 years, he was my world. My family welcomed him like one of their own, especially my sister, Haley. She always hovered a little too close to him, laughed a little too hard at his jokes, but I brushed it off. She was my sister. What reason did I have to suspect anything? The beginning of the end came quietly. He stopped answering my calls right away. Our texts turned cold. The late-night talks stopped. He was busy, always working late. I kept telling myself it was a phase. Every couple has rough patches, right? But deep down, I knew something had changed. Still, I clung to hope like a fool. Then one evening, he looked me in the eye and told me he wasn't in love anymore. Just like that, no reason, no apology, just done. He walked out of my life like I was nothing. I fell apart. I cried until my chest physically hurt. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. And Haley? She held me, comforted me, said all the right things. "You deserve better," she'd whisper. "He didn't see your worth." I believed her. I leaned on her more than anyone, until one day, 4 months later, I saw a photo. Someone tagged Haley in it, her and Alex having dinner, candlelight flickering between them like it was the most romantic night of their lives. I froze. My hands went numb. I clicked through her profile. More photos, more smiles, my ex, my sister, together, kissing, holding hands, living the life we were supposed to have. I confronted her, trembling with disbelief, rage pulsing in my veins. She didn't even flinch. "We didn't plan it," she said. "It just happened. I didn't want to hurt you. Didn't want to hurt me." She stole the man I loved right out from under me and paraded it on social media like it was some fairy tale. I was shaking with fury, but I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Not in front of her. 2 weeks later, they announced their engagement. That was the moment something inside me snapped. I realized that if I stayed quiet, if I let this pass, they'd win. They'd walk down the aisle smiling while I was still, trying to put the pieces of my heart back together. No, I wasn't going to play the victim anymore. I was going to remind them exactly who they betrayed. I still had access to Alex's old files, his business plans, contacts, financial data. He was planning a huge launch for his new company. I sent anonymous emails to the investors exposing shady dealings from his past. I didn't lie. I just revealed what he desperately wanted to keep hidden. The fallout was fast. Investors backed out and his reputation took a hit he couldn't recover from. His dream collapsed before it even began. Haley had always dreamed of a perfect wedding. Garden venue, designer dress, custom decor. She'd been bragging about it since we were kids. I found out who her planner was and fed them a quiet, anonymous tip. "You might want to look into who you're working with." Then I did the same with the venue, the dressmaker, the florist. One by one, things unraveled. The venue canceled. The designer backed out. Haley was left scrambling, stressed, humiliated, and furious. When the day of the wedding finally came, they managed to pull something together. A small, plain ceremony in a community hall. No glamour, no shine, no fairy tale. I didn't attend. Instead, I sent a gift. A framed photo of me and Alex from our trip to the mountains 2 years ago. The caption read, Some things never disappear. She didn't respond. But I heard from someone close to her that she broke down crying after opening it. Good. She deserved that. It's been a year now. They're still together, but things aren't picture perfect anymore. Alex's career hasn't recovered. Haley's always on edge, paranoid, like she's waiting for something else to fall apart. And me? I'm finally free. I'm with someone who respects me, who loves me without games. And for the first time in a long time, I sleep peacefully at night. Revenge didn't fix everything, but it gave me something I desperately needed: closure. They took everything from me, so I took something back, and I'd do it again. That sentence sounds insane, right? Like something out of a trashy soap opera. But this is my life, and I didn't see it coming. Not from her, not from Haley. It started with a phone call I wasn't meant to hear. Whispers, a soft laugh, a man's voice I hadn't heard in months. Then the click. Silence. My stomach twisted. Something was wrong. Something was off. 4 months after my boyfriend of 3 years, Alex, dumped me without warning, I was still trying to stitch myself back together, and my sister, my own blood, was supposed to be helping me do that. But I would soon find out that she was the one holding the knife. Alex and I were serious. We'd planned a life, talked about getting a house, marriage, kids. He met my parents. He spent Christmas with us. He held me when I cried, made promises he swore he'd never break. For 3 years, he told me I was everything. Then, just like that, he changed. Cold texts, missed calls, a strange distance in his eyes. I blamed work. I blamed stress. I even blamed myself. And then he told me, flat, emotionless, that he didn't love me anymore. No big fight, no cheating scandal, just emptiness. I thought I'd die from the pain. I spent nights curled up in bed, staring at the wall, wondering what I did wrong. My sister Haley was there through it all, holding me, whispering, "You deserve better." God, I was such a fool. The first photo popped up on Instagram. Haley tagged at a rooftop bar, her hand on his chest. Alex, my Alex, with her. I remember the glass slipping from my hand and shattering on the floor. I couldn't breathe. I stared at the screen like I was watching someone else's life. She didn't deny it. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she said softly. "But we fell in love. You weren't right for him." I saw red. My vision blurred. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My sister, my best friend, since childhood, was in love with the man who tore me apart. And she acted like I should be understanding. 2 weeks later, they were engaged. It felt like someone reached inside me and ripped out what was left of my heart. My parents were torn, asking me to be the bigger person and let love be love. I felt alone, humiliated, betrayed beyond words, but I wasn't going to let them win. No, if they wanted war, I'd give them one. Quiet, controlled, devastating. Alex was launching a business, a sleek, modern consulting firm. I used to help him with branding, networking, outreach. I still had his pitch decks, investor lists, private notes. He never changed his passwords, so I gathered everything. I compiled it into one clean, anonymous packet and sent it off to every contact I knew would care. I didn't need to lie. I just let the truth rot him from the inside out. Within weeks, his funding dried up. 2 investors pulled out. He lost a huge partnership. His reputation in flames. And he never knew where the leak came from. Meanwhile, Haley was planning the wedding of her dreams. I knew every detail. She used to gush about it when we were kids. White lilies, a garden ceremony, the designer dress. I made a few well-placed calls. An anonymous email here, a tip-off there, the venue canceled. The florist backed out. The dress designer dropped her without explanation. I watched from the sidelines as her perfect day crumbled into a desperate scramble, and I smiled. They still got married, barely. A rushed, awkward event in a generic hall with wilted flowers and mismatched chairs. I wasn't invited, of course, but I sent a gift, a framed photo of me and Alex from the trip we took to Paris. The one he said was the best week of his life. On the back, I wrote, "Memories don't lie." I heard she cried. I hope she did. It's been a year now. They're still together. But they look tired, hollow. I see the cracks forming in their perfect picture. Alex's business never recovered. Haley quit her job to focus on her marriage, but friends say she's withdrawn, paranoid. I don't hear from either of them anymore. As for me, I healed, slowly, painfully. But I found someone else, someone real, someone who didn't flinch at my scars. And when he holds me, I don't flinch either. I finally feel peace. They betrayed me in the worst way. But I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I made them bleed in silence. People say revenge is a poison. Maybe it is. But for me, it tasted like justice, and I slept like a baby. I'm standing in my kitchen, staring at my phone, frozen. It's late at night, but I can't sleep. I just scrolled through a photo that shattered my world. Again, it's a picture of my sister Haley smiling with Alex. My Alex. The man who left me months ago with no warning, no explanation, no goodbye. They're holding hands like it's the happiest day of their lives. And I'm just standing here, the same kitchen where I used to imagine my future with him. How did it get to this? How did the two people I trusted the most betray me in the worst way imaginable? The truth is, it didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, painful unraveling, a series of cracks in what I thought was an unbreakable foundation. But the moment I found out about Haley and Alex, that moment felt like a punch right to my gut. And the worst part? I never saw it coming. Alex and I met in college. He was funny, smart, and somehow completely different from anyone I'd ever dated. We connected on every level, long talks under the stars, lazy Sunday mornings drinking coffee, dreams of a future built together. For 3 years, he was my world. I thought we were building something real, something permanent. Haley was my sister. My best friend since childhood. We shared everything, or so I thought. I never noticed the way she watched him sometimes. Never thought much of the little jokes they shared. Maybe I was too naive, or maybe I was just too in love to see the truth. Everything started changing about 6 months before Alex left me. At first, it was little things. He stopped texting good morning or good night. He canceled plans last minute. His smiles didn't reach his eyes. When I asked if something was wrong, he'd brush it off or say work was stressful. I tried to hold on, told myself maybe this was normal. Relationships aren't perfect. People change. But the distance grew. One night I found him on his phone, whispering with Haley. Their heads were close. I felt something twist inside me, but I didn't say a word. I didn't want to believe it. Then, the final blow. Alex sat me down and said flatly, "I don't love you anymore. No tears, no anger, Just those words, like a sentence I had to accept. I begged, I pleaded, I promised to change. But it was no use. He was gone. I was broken. I turned to Haley for comfort. She held me as I cried, told me I deserved better, told me I'd find someone who loved me the way I deserved. I believed her. Until the photo appeared, the picture of them, together. I confronted Haley. She looked at me like I was the villain. "We didn't plan this," she said. "It just happened." Her betrayal was worse than any heartbreak. They were engaged 2 weeks later, and I realized I had two choices: crumble or fight back.